Are you unsure whether Various Daylife is worth buying or not? Let's find out. Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Psydburnz and I'm a variety streamer from Fortnite to Phasmophobia to Lost Ark to Yoshi's Crafted World, and this week we're going to be focusing on Various Daylife. Now, if you're like me, you probably found out about Various Daylife from the Nintendo Switch premiere when they were releasing all of their various games that are coming out throughout the year, like Kirby, the new Breath of the Wild. Before, I had never heard of Various Daylife, though through a lot of people coming into my streams, they had mentioned that it was a mobile game before. Some liked it, some didn't like it. So what I'm going to be going over is the game worth the hype? Is it worth buying? And that's what we're going to find out now. First, we start off with the character design, where you could choose various different appearances for your character, and then you'll proceed by creating a name. Here, I have chosen Marty. Now begins a little bit of the backlog of the story, where there is a royal who is set out on an expedition to try and locate and discover new areas and territories. The backstory isn't completely colorful, it just seems pretty blah and basic, but nonetheless it isn't bad. Now I know what we need to do, where we're going to be discovering new areas of this region or continent. Once you're finished with the introduction, now you're presented with the actual environment. This is going to be a 3D side scroller. All right, you can go into various multiple parts of town, and even later in the game, you're able to jump from place to place, so you don't have to experience all of this tedious running. And to jump from various place to place or various parts within the town, you would just go to Arabia and then select whichever part you want to go to, and it even lists what friends you have, which I'll be discussing here in a little bit. Now, this game is going to be a clicker, or what I like to call a button masher RPG. You do level up a lot by completing tasks that actually don't involve you fighting. For example, the main part of where you're going to be going to level up is going to be in your home. Now, here you get to see where you have an option to work, where you're going to be completing various quests to level yourself up, both your stats and your actual level. You can train an ally, you can rest if you've done enough work and you're about to pass out. You can go back to the main menu or review a tutorial. Now on this page, if we're going to be completing some work, on the right you're going to see various bonuses. Con, which is going to be your physical defense in the AM, is multiplied by 3. Your magic power, or MP, is multiplied by 4. You have a work chain and even experience bonus that will go up the more you work. So if I go and click on the work, I'm going to see a new quest. I even see other quests to complete. Now on these quests, you're going to be seeing money, accident rate, so can you have an accident to where you're going to pass out and lose stats? Yes, that's a thing I'll talk about in a little bit. Your failure rate. Now, one thing to mention, the failure rate, you will still achieve all the experience on the stats, but you will not get the monetary objective. So for this case, Bruno, I can get plus 7 HP, I can get plus 240 experience, my con will go up by 7, but my strength will decrease by 10. So there is a lot of balance, mixing, matching that goes into work that eliminates the constant need to just mash a button to complete work, which I really think is a breath of fresh air. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to go ahead and complete one that I think is going to be really good. I get 28,000 from this. My strength goes down by 20, but my con goes up by 8. I don't know if I want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and complete one that may not make my strength go down as much. So I'm going to do this Bruno. So once I go ahead and complete it, I'll wait. Or I can just hit A to expedite the process, and then it will say success or failure. So as you'll notice, my con was multiplied by 3, so it went from 11, and then I got plus 33 on it. My strength decreased by 5, my HP went up, same with my intelligence and charisma. And what's awesome is that there's also work in the AM that's not available in the PM, and vice versa. So it's really going to have you go from night and day to complete particular work, which I think is really cool. But the work is how you level up your individual HP, MP, strength, con, agility, so on and so forth. And then what's awesome is that if you forget what strength does, or wisdom, or charisma, or you're just needing a refresher of any of the tutorials, you'll be able to select review tutorial in your home, and then you'll be able to select various ones that will show you all the information you need, like this one where it will go over the strengths, the con, so on and so forth. Now, one thing to mention is that the quests in the guild are going to be very tedious and do get more difficult as time progresses, so you are going to have to spend quite a bit of time working and even training your ally. So to elevate and increase your allies level, you will have to train them by getting money you use from the guild quest or work or anything else around town. So make sure that you are spending your time leveling up not just your character, but getting the money to level up your allies so they don't die quickly in battle as well. Now, speaking of your allies, they are going to be assisting you on your journey throughout the game. They are strategically placed throughout the map. So if we go back to the map, we'll be able to see where they are. Some are on the main street, some are on the crowded street, and some on the back street. Backstreet boys, tell me why. So what you're going to want to do is to increase various stats, you're going to want to go to your various allies and build connections, or what's called in the game is bonding. And by bonding, you're going to be inviting them out. So I'm going to invite Adelaide. And when I invite her, I can take her to various places that, as you notice, will increase various stats. It's not going to have a bonus like in the work in your home, but still you'll be able to increase not just your stamina and mood, but also increase other stats as well. Now, your stamina and mood are going to affect the amount and the type of work you get. Okay, and we're going to go over that here in a second, but for the most part, I'm going to go ahead and select one that's going to increase my stamina and mood, which will increase my MP and charisma. By selecting those, it's going to prompt us with various screens of sometimes tedious conversations. You can click through them. There's really not much of importance. It's really just very, very minor progression in the game, and just more so talking about the relationship between the ally and yourself. So we noticed that I did increase some, which increased the affinity, which is going to help us with bonus attacks or special attacks when fighting. When completing work, your stamina and mood will play a big role. If you keep doing enough work that is going to reduce your stamina and mood, you will end up passing out. And by passing out, that is bad because you don't lose anything in the game except your stats, and your stats decrease multiple days. So you could see your HP, your MP, your strength, all of your stats decrease by anywhere from 20 to 40 points per day that you're passed out. But what's awesome is that no matter what, even if your stats hit 0, like my dexterity, you will never go back in any of your stats. You can only go forward. So my dexterity cannot decrease from 13 to 12 if I pass out, which I think is really cool. Now, within the map, you do have various things to do. You have various quests or fun activities such as going to the circus or even the church. So I'm going to go on my map and I'm going to go to the circus part. Now, what's pretty cool is that when you go to these various sections, it does build some dialogue. You do also get to level up your stats as well. So as you notice, there are various ways that you can increase your stats: by work, by bonding with your allies, or even by involving yourself in the town. So I could dance in the show for 70,000 and increase my agility and dexterity and charisma. Or I can watch the show for only 30,000 and increase my charisma and dexterity. So I'm going to go ahead and select to dance in the show. It'll have more dialogue. There's really no cutscenes within the game. It's strictly just dialogue. But nonetheless, you do get to somewhat interact with the game and even the town and better yourself and your allies for this. So I think that is really cool. Next, we have what's called Guild Quest. So with Guild Quest, these are going to be various quests that are going to help you progress through the story. Now, when you select a quest, it's going to have a recommended level, and it's also going to be discussing all the money that you could potentially earn from that particular place, as well as discuss the amount of days that's going to be passing. Now, you have to take all of this into consideration, the recommended level and even the minimum days, because you don't want to be below the recommended level, or you will have a very tough time defeating monsters, beating bosses, and even completing the guild quests. Whenever you find whichever quest you would like to do, all you have to do is select it, and it's going to prompt you to select your party. Now, some quests are going to require at least one solidified person. In this case, it's Melhard. I have no choice but to take Melhard. So there are some quests that require at least one particular person be brought, while others it doesn't matter. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Bruno and Adelaide. And once I select my party members, then I confirm, and then I get to bring food. Now, food is going to be very important, because the more days on a quest, the more your HP is going to deplete. And not to mention, there are environmental factors like rain that can affect your HP negatively and make it reduce even more. So you definitely want to bring the appropriate amount of food. Also, one cool mechanic is that the food does expire after a certain number of days. So you notice how it says fresh, while these spoiled grains say spoiled. Depending upon their freshness, they will not be as useful, or not even be useful at all. So once we select our party members and the storage of food and even items, we are good to go and start our quests. Now, whenever you do start the quest, they are going to have various requirements. So for this one, we have to obtain the willow branches. Now, what's really cool about these quests is that, as you can see on the top right, there is a percent marker going up. And that's when I am in slow-mo. So for example, we've reached 10% of that while kind of walking slow, and I'm going to show you all how we change it, and even how to change the battle itself. So we get to see various abilities we have. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Knight's ability, because that's a subclass, which I think is really cool. I just got that last night, and that is something that I just found out, that you can have more than one job or class in this game, which I think is really cool. Now, after the battle, we get to see any items we acquired. So the quivering willow branch was something that is required for the quest. It could be a number of things. You can get items for your quest, or you can get items for outside of it, like you can get potions, elixirs, stuff like that. Now, in the top left, it'll tell us one arrow. So if we hit the ZR button, we can go faster, and as you notice, it even increases the percent as well. So it overall goes faster, and not to mention, it will affect the battle speed as well. So you get to customize whether you want to take it slow or you want to go pretty fast. For this game, I've always kept it on fast, just because it makes the most sense, because it is a button masher / clicker RPG. But overall, with these quests, as you notice, the HP does go down. Your MP does not, thank God, but your HP does, and as you can tell, it's decreasing even more because of the rain. So those are things you want to keep in mind. Now, from time to time, you also want to check your items, the food, because those are perishables and can decrease over time. So these are still fresh. I'm going to go ahead and use one that'll increase 30% of my max HP. Why not? And even in the camp, you can use items, you can sleep, so on and so forth, which once again, I think is pretty cool. So we're just going to keep trucking along. And at the end of the quest, you can have bosses, or it could just have you complete the actual quest. Or in this case, we have a stipulation. We just have to collect 3 branches, and once we collect these 3 branches, then we are done and we get to collect our money, which I think is really cool. Alright, and now that we have our 3rd branch, the quest is cleared and we are going to receive our reward. So that is Various Daylife in a nutshell. As you all can see, it really is a big clicker slash button masher RPG, but it is one that, ironically enough, I have come to actually enjoy. Before, I really didn't. I didn't like the fact that, yes, I did have some turn-based RPG, but there was really nothing else that I could really do to really feel like I was contributing. However, after giving it some thought and playing it a little bit more over the weekend, I have dumped probably close to 10-12 hours into it. Something that I would do while doing laundry or watching TV, something that I could really accomplish but not take a whole lot of time to really sit and think, aside from, you know, the work and making sure I got the most out of the stats for the work. And I really do love that as I am progressing in the story, there are more things. For example, new items, new products in the market, new weapons, new armor in the armor shops. I am loving that as I'm progressing through the story, there are more things being added to the world to give it a myriad of flavor and colors. So I really do enjoy that. Now that we have reviewed the game, now it's time to give you my personal opinion whether you should pull the trigger and buy it. My personal opinion, I really do enjoy the game. I have come to enjoy it. Think of it almost like a JRPG version of Animal Crossing in a sense. I do love everything they're adding to it. I love the direction that it's going to. However, $30 was a steep price to pay for the Nintendo Switch game, the JRPG. However, I would say if it goes on sale for anywhere from maybe $10 to $15 and you don't mind something that you can just button mash or click, because I know it's available on PC as well. I think it's available on PC as well. But if you're looking for something to kind of fill the time, whether you're doing laundry, watching a show you really do love watching, but also want to play a game with it as well, that's not going to take a huge amount of thought, this would be that game. However, if you're maybe strapped for cash, $30 may be a little too steep, so I just wait until it gets on sale. But once again, I do enjoy the game and I can't wait to progress in it further and even beat it so I can see what other fruits it holds. So as always, if you all found this video informative, helpful, or whatever, please make sure to smash that like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Stay safe out there. Smash that like and subscribe!